For nearly a decade, Jeremy Wade stepped into waters most people wouldn't dare to touch. He wrestled creatures that seemed ripped from nightmares, solved mysteries no scientist could answer, and turned river monsters into one of the most captivating shows on television. Then suddenly, at the height of its fame, it was over. No grand farewell, no declining ratings, no big finale, just silence. Viewers were left asking, did danger finally catch up to him? Was there a hidden scandal? Or was the truth stranger than anyone imagined? As it turns out, Wade's reason stunned fans, and it changed everything. When River Monsters aired its final episode in 2017, fans were blindsided. The show was still a massive hit, pulling strong ratings and commanding a global audience. Most assumed its cancellation had something to do with the usual television politics. Budget cuts, a shift in network strategy, or Jeremy Wade himself burning out after years of punishing travel schedules. But that wasn't the case at all. Speculation spread quickly online. Some thought Wade had faced a near-death experience that scared him away from the water for good. Others whispered about conflicts behind the scenes. A few even believed the dangers he faced had simply become too real to keep filming. But when Wade finally addressed the ending, he dismissed all of those theories with a surprisingly simple explanation. He had completed his mission. It wasn't about failing. It wasn't about losing interest. Wade revealed that River Monsters ended because there were no monsters left to catch. He had crossed every major predator off his personal list. But that answer only created another mystery. What kind of list was so powerful that it dictated the end of one of the most popular wildlife shows in history? In interviews, Wade revealed the truth that shocked everyone. He had a monster bucket list. For years before the show even existed, Wade had compiled stories of legendary freshwater killers. He studied rumors, scientific reports, and ancient folklore until he had a mental checklist of the creatures he wanted to track down. Every season of River Monsters wasn't just a TV show, it was his personal mission unfolding on screen. By season 9, that mission was complete. The Goonch catfish? Caught. The monstrous arapaima? Secured. Even the infamous Goliath tigerfish, a beast many thought impossible to land, was crossed off. Wade hadn't lost passion, he had achieved closure. This revelation stunned fans. In an industry notorious for milking successful shows until they collapse, Wade did something unheard of. He ended on his own terms. Critics praised him for walking away with integrity. Social media exploded with respect, calling it one of the most badass reasons a show had ever ended. But his so-called monster bucket list raised new intrigue. If the entire show was driven by this secret checklist, what exactly was on it? And why did these mysterious creatures obsess him for so many years? Jeremy Wade's legendary list was far more than a casual wish. It was built on decades of rumors, strange disappearances, and whispered legends of predators lurking in rivers. Each entry had a story. The Goonch catfish in India was said to drag people beneath the surface. Villagers believed it feasted on funeral remains, giving it a taste for human flesh. Wade proved the beast was real, 6 feet long, 200 pounds, and armed with teeth sharp enough to crush bone. Then there was the arapaima, an armored giant of the Amazon. Fishermen described it thrashing boats apart with sheer force. Wade risked venomous snakes and flooded forests to find it. The Goliath tigerfish of the Congo looked like a horror movie villain, its dagger-like fangs protruding from a jaw, strong enough to shred prey in seconds. Local tribes refused to swim where it lurked. Wade did anyway, and lived to show the world its terrifying face. His list wasn't limited to giants. Tiny horrors like the kangaroo parasite, rumored to invade human bodies, also haunted him. Every hunt wasn't just about fishing, it was about solving mysteries that blurred the line between legend and fact. But catching monsters was only part of the struggle. On television, river monsters looked like pure adventure, thrilling expeditions, dangerous rivers, and dramatic encounters. But behind the camera, the reality was brutal. Wade and his crew often operated in extreme conditions with little safety net. In the Amazon, they carried equipment by canoe through crocodile-infested waters, surviving on military rations with no electricity or medical help for hundreds of miles. In Papua New Guinea, Wade contracted dengue fever, halting production for weeks. Filming permits were constantly an issue, and in politically unstable regions, the team risked being mistaken for spies. Wade admitted that sometimes the danger wasn't the fish, it was simply being there. Hostile locals, sudden storms, venomous snakes, and heat exhaustion all threatened the crew's survival. And still, they pushed forward, determined to capture stories no one else could. Even creatively, the pressure was immense. Each season demanded fresh monsters, new myths, and discoveries that felt authentic. As Wade's list grew shorter, the challenge of finding unseen predators weighed heavily on the production. Yet even with all this chaos, Wade never compromised the show's integrity. His commitment to truth kept river monsters grounded in reality when it could have easily become fiction. And fans noticed. When Wade announced the end of River Monsters, fans didn't lash out in anger. Instead, they turned him into a legend. On Reddit, one viral thread praised him for literally catching them all, comparing him to someone completing a real-life Pokemon quest. Memes flooded social media, portraying him as a mythical hero who battled creatures even Google couldn't identify. Fans worldwide, from Brazil to the UK, shared emotional stories. Many said they grew up watching Wade, and his show sparked their fascination with biology, science, or conservation. Others admitted they tuned in for the thrill, but stayed because of his intelligence and calm storytelling. The internet treated Wade's reason for ending the show as not just respectable, but extraordinary. One fan wrote, "That's the most badass reason a show ever ended." Another declared, "Jeremy Wade didn't lose to time, fame, or ratings. He won." But while fans saluted his legacy, they also wondered, was this really the end? Could Wade truly retire after spending his life chasing mysteries? Or was there something darker, stranger, and even more ambitious waiting just beyond the rivers? They didn't have to wait long for the answer. Jeremy Wade's journey didn't end when River Monsters did. It transformed. In 2019, he launched Dark Waters, a series that took his investigative spirit into even murkier territory. Instead of local monster myths, he chased eerie aquatic mysteries, mass die-offs of fish, unexplained underwater vanishings, and bizarre environmental shifts that left scientists baffled. One episode saw him in Florida, investigating why thousands of fish were dying overnight. Another took him into the icy Arctic, where he explored a chilling story of a sunken Soviet submarine rumored to be haunted. The tone was darker, the mysteries more unsettling. Wade wasn't just asking, "What monsters live here?" He was asking, "What secrets are we missing beneath the surface?" Then came Mysteries of the Deep in 2020, which widened his lens even further. From vanished ships to strange sonar images, Wade's calm narration guided viewers into the unknown. While he wasn't always in the water himself, his investigative approach grounded the series in science and truth. But this shift revealed something deeper. Wade's mission was no longer only about finding monsters. It was about understanding what their existence or disappearance meant for the world itself. Over time, Jeremy Wade's image evolved from adventurer to advocate. His early hunts had revealed creatures feared as monsters, but Wade constantly reminded viewers they weren't villains, they were survivors. By holding them in his hands and explaining their roles in fragile ecosystems, he turned fear into fascination. This approach changed how millions saw freshwater giants. The Paraíba catfish wasn't a monster. It was an apex predator essential to river health. The giant stingray wasn't a killer. It was a threatened species in need of protection. Behind the scenes, Wade collaborated with researchers and conservationists who used his discoveries as stepping stones for further study. In some cases, his episodes inspired full conservation campaigns, drawing attention to rivers devastated by pollution or overfishing. He also gave voice to local communities. By listening to fishermen and tribal elders, Wade validated knowledge that mainstream science often ignored. In doing so, he built a bridge between folklore and biology, proving both had value in understanding nature's mysteries. But as his career shifted, one question still lingered. If Wade's mission had always been about solving mysteries, what would happen when some questions refused to be answered? River Monsters didn't just redefine wildlife television. It redefined how people think about fear. Wade transformed terrifying myths into scientific puzzles, unraveling them one by one. But not every mystery was solved. Even as the show ended, he hinted at rivers that still hid secrets too elusive to capture. That's the beauty of his legacy. Wade didn't just catch fish. He inspired global curiosity. He taught millions that legends are often rooted in truth, that fear can lead to discovery, and that even the most terrifying predators are part of a delicate balance worth protecting. His impact continues to ripple across science, media, and conservation. Fans still debate their favorite episodes, still wonder what beasts lurk unseen in remote waters, and still trust Wade as the man who proved monsters exist, just not in the way we once believed. So maybe Wade didn't really run out of monsters. Maybe he simply changed how we define them. And as long as rivers flow and rumors spread, there will always be new mysteries waiting. The real question now is, what monsters are still out there, hidden in the shadows of the water, waiting for someone brave enough to find them?